We know this ain't right.
Man, this can't be life.
We gotta unite.
How can I word this? You got the military, but then you have other forms of paramilitary. Like these are subgroups, subdivisions that you never hear about, that they are not known. Like for example, mercenary groups. A lot of people that get killed, they get killed by mercenary groups. A lot of the gang violence is did by mercenary groups. So what are mercenary groups? These are part of paramilitary. You don't even know these people exist, but you got these people that's elite soldiers, or and they walk around regular civilians dressed in regular clothes, and they get paid to go around and keep murders going. So a lot of the paramilitary activity that's done is done in neighborhoods. All right, so a lot of times what they'll do is they like to keep gang wars going, or they kill a lot of people within the Black and Latino community as a way of enforcing fear amongst us and more division. So, for example, let's use some Crips and Bloods, okay? An example of a paramilitary operation would be, let's say the Crips and the Bloods stop beefing. Okay, well, they'll send in a paramilitary operation like a mercenary group, and their job will be to dress up as Bloods, and then they'll go ride to the Crip neighborhood and shoot the Crip neighborhood up. Okay, so now the Crips not gonna think the police did that or some paramilitary group. All they know is they seen a bunch of Blood people dressed up in Blood affiliate insignia, and they came through and shot Lil Tim Tim, and now he died. So now that somebody's died in the Crip neighborhood, now the Crips gonna go back and retaliate on the Bloods. Now the Bloods gonna be looking like, why they just come shoot us up? They shot us up for no reason. So now the Bloods can go retaliate on the Crips, and they go war. You got certain gang wars that's been, the gangs has been warring, the organizations that have been warring since the 60s and the 70s, because paramilitary groups, mercenary groups infiltrated and did this. They don't just do it to like the gangs. They'll go around and they use a lot of them to do the kidnapping and the sex trafficking. They use a lot of them just to keep violence in general. Like, just like the police have a quota to meet, these paramilitary groups have a quota to meet. So this is how the media is able to feed certain numbers of violence to you and say, hey, this is a violent city. It's a lot of robberies, it's a lot of rapes, it's a lot of muggings going on. They literally have operations intact to keep this system going. All right, and this system that they keep going feeds us fear. So those paramilitary groups are even more higher up on the chain than the military. All right, so now above the paramilitary groups, you have all your presidents. Okay, you have all your presidents all around the world from all these different countries. Okay, now above those, you have your secret orders of your Freemasons, your Black nobility, your Knights Templar, your Eastern Stars. All right, you got those. All right. This is why so many cops and people that's judges are in power are Freemasons, and they are part of secret societies, like we always say, the Illuminati literally means enlightened one. So the original Illuminati was us, our ancestors who was hiding from the Vatican, who was hiding from them during the Christian and Muslim crusades, and they didn't want to let go of our ancient wisdom, our ancient enchantments, our ancient magic. So what they did was, they formed these little groups like the Illuminati, and they went and hiding with all this mystic information. Okay, so the elites are oppressors. Everything that they got, they stole from us. Okay, so that's everything. Like I say, the swastika is an ancient symbol to open up portals, but they took it and used it, and you seen Hitler use it. Okay, the rainbow is something that comes from us because it shows all the different chakras and all the different vibrations of color, and we know all color stimulates from neuromelanin. We know neuromelanin is nothing but carbon in physical form. And we know that carbon is the base on which all life forms. And we know that and carbon comes from dark matter energy, all right, which is the source from which our goddesses created themselves. So you got to understand the way these orders work. That's why a lot of these orders, you have light. They use light magic. They can't tap into the dark alchemy. They can't tap into the arts. They even make you think dark is bad. But this is these orders that did this. But you got to realize, like, groups like the Illuminati, they use that name now, but the original Illuminati was a bunch of gods and goddesses who had hidden these little subdivisions to try to get away from the church, to get away from the Vatican, who was attacking them. Okay, so above these orders, all right, then you have the Rockefellers, and you got the 13 families. You got the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and all these other Bilderberger group, the Boule, and all this other shit. But what's above them? The Pope. All right. Now, Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth sits above them. Now, what sits above Queen Elizabeth? It's only one person. That's the Pope. All right. Now, what sits above the Pope? The Vatican. The Pope and the Vatican is two different things. All right, people see the Pope and they're like, okay, the Pope runs the Vatican. No, because if they did you know that in the Vatican, like when they pick a Pope, like if everybody don't agree on that Pope, they'll kill him right there to put the Pope that they want in play. All right, so the Vatican, they do a lot of sacrificing in there. It's not what you think when they were selecting popes. It's nothing like you think. And the Pope is nothing more than like the president of the Vatican. So the Vatican represents some form of a company, all right? But you got to understand the Vatican represents a spiritual company because this is the temple through which Satan, or Hiram Abiff, as he liked to hide through so many names and religion, all right, when he talked about Solomon's temple. But in reality, they talking about this Vatican and how Satan exudes his will, implements his will through this Vatican, and the force of the Vatican. All right, it's no coincidence the Vatican is located in Europe. Hey, it could have been located in what they call Asia. It could have been located in what they call Australia or Africa or South America or North America or Canada, right? Why is it located in Europe? Because it's literally located not too far from the Caucasus Mountains where they came out of. All right. So when they set up shop, they couldn't really go that far because you got to remember the Moors, which was another group of gods and goddesses. They were black. That was teaching them everything they know when they come out the caves. All right. So the whole way the Vatican is set up, they have a phallus in the middle of the Vatican, and the shape of the Vatican. Like if you look at it at the shape of the Vatican, you can clearly see. Let me show you an aerial view. All right, of the Vatican. All right, you see a penis and you see a vagina. All right, that's the Vatican. Hold on, y'all. We on the same page? Y'all see it? See the shape of the Vatican in that center? And then what's this in the center? So you see the penis, and then you see the balls. You see the scrotum? That represents like a penis and balls, okay? From an aerial view. And then in the middle of that is what? A phallus. This is a bull's phallus, okay? So you're going to always see a bull's phallus. You're going to see the bull's phallus in Washington, D.C. too as well. You know what I'm saying? Because they worship the penis. Okay, understand that those in the Vatican worship the penis. Now, why does Vatican City worship the penis? All right, they worship the penis because they promote the Baphomet agenda. They promote homosexuality. I mean, this is nothing but the shape of a dick and some balls, literally. And then the little tall thing that's in the middle that's sticking up. Everybody right now, if y'all got laptops, pull them out. Pull up Google aerial view of the Vatican. That's what I want y'all to do. We all got phones. Work with me now. I'm always trying to show y'all shit. Y'all got to work with me now. Just like in class. The teacher tell you, flip to page 32. All y'all ass got laptops, tablets, iPads, and you got an alternate phone around the house. All right? Go to Google aerial view of the Vatican. And you'll see it's shaped like a dick and balls, okay? That's because they worship the Baphomet, and the Baphomet represents transgender, represents. If you look up the Baphomet, you're going to see a picture of him like this, pointing up and pointing down, as above, so below. But he's going to have breasts like a goddess, but a penis like a male. Both sexes, okay? This is what they pushing right now. But you got to understand where this come from. The Vatican is an actual machine, okay? If you think that this design like this, go look at the aerial view. It's not designed like that for no reason. And at the bottom of that hole, it opens up. So that represents the vulva of the vagina that goes to, like, of a goddess. It represents that. So they are channeling both the divine and feminine energy, but they're using light magic to do so. Okay, you can even see that the Vatican, that this phallus has a cross on the top. Okay, that's not even the original cross. So the original cross is like the Ankh, where it has the represents the penis on the bottom, the vagina on the top. All right, the connection of the divine feminine energy. That's the original cross, like the Ankh. But the cross that we know, that represents the elements: north, east, south, and west. All right. And they use that as a symbol of death when they're doing their blood sacrifices, okay? So that's why in the story of Jesus, they talk about hanging him on the cross, hanging him using the elements, you know what I'm saying? And that's what they do with us. And if you notice that, remember I told you they practicing light magic. So if you go to an aerial view of the Vatican, right, and you zoom in, okay, you see this? Y'all see this? Look at this is the little square around this phallus. This is the bull's penis. And at the top of the phallus is a cross, okay, representing the elements. All this is esoteric information. This is nothing but them trying to channel the frequency of the sun, which they cannot do, and using this as portals to harness demonic energy. Because Satan, Zeus, Yakub, the top of that pyramid is the Vatican. In the Vatican, they only checking in with one person, and that's the reptilian race. The reptilians are the fallen angels who are shapeshifters and have shapeshifted into reptilian form. Remember, I told you that. So basically, on this planet, on this plane, what I'm saying is all the evil energy, negative energy, light magic that's being used is coming from the Vatican. Okay, and the next place the Vatican uses is Hollywood. That's the next most powerful place where California is at, because California is on the 33rd parallel on the ley line, which is the vein of the planet. And the third most powerful place is Atlanta, Georgia. All right, but Atlanta, Georgia is the capital of Atlantis and is in the center of the realm. But they could never try to harness all of their magic and energy on the capital of the realm, because we still got too much ancient energy here. So what they did was they dipped off into their little section of the land that they stole, where they come from originally, which is these Caucasus Mountains. And look, remember I told y'all, when they casting spells, they don't have ancestors, all right? This whole thing is nothing but a fucking altar, okay? This is nothing but an altar, y'all. And then just like you would have an Orisha or whatever ancestor you talking to as your altar, this is an altar. And then you see all these little candles around it. You see the little square at the bottom. You can see this whole circle around it. These represents like a form of candle, okay? You see all these so-called saints. These are all Latter-day Saints that they have. So that's like little mini what? That's like having me sitting in the house with Orishas. You see what I'm saying? They have a bunch of saints right here. These are little saints, Latter-day. Pay attention. So this whole front of the Vatican is nothing but an altar. They're using the channel energy. Now remember the north, east, south, west plasma energy, the 5-point star. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they have a circle around it. Why is the circle there? Because remember, whenever they cast this magic, it's light magic. They don't have any ancestors. So for protection, they need a protection circle. I talked about this yesterday on Instagram. So they got the protection circle around the phallus in the center of the Vatican. A lot of people never paid attention to these signs and symbols for the conscious mind because they are not tapped into them downloads like that to understand what the Vatican is really being used for. Now remember, if you go look at the story of Jesus Christ, who you think killed him? The church killed him. Go read his story. He was against the church. He spoke out against the Vatican. They didn't call him the Vatican back then. And if you go look at the gospel, Jesus called it, once again, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. So understand that the Vatican is a very powerful place. And when you speak out against the Vatican, they come for you. Like, because they at the top. You got to understand that that's not any presidents, not any gang leaders, not any drug kingpins. Even the Bilderbergers, Rockefellers, 13 families, all of them answer to the Vatican. And the Vatican checks in with the reptilian race. So that's why I named this lecture Vatican. The quiet one in the room is normally most powerful because the Vatican is quiet. You never hear nothing about the Vatican. We focus on the murders. We focus on the drugs. We focusing on coronavirus. We focusing on the 13 families, the Illuminati, Bilderberger groups, Boule. We focusing on what rappers sold, they sold, what actors sold. We be focused on everybody else. Meanwhile, this little Vatican sitting off in the cut with all the power, pulling all the strings. And they're not pulling the strings from a physical sense. They're tapping into fallen angels. It's ran by fallen angels. That's who they praise to, and they use the whole realm as a magic wand to use our energy to manifest what they want to happen. Remember this, y'all. Whatever we believe, we manifest. We the ancient ones. We the ancient beings. So our oppressors who are using light magic, they don't have any power over us other than our belief in their lies. When we believe their lies, we begin to create their reality. So that's what we've been doing the whole time. We've been believing their lies from jump. And because we are the ancient ones, they used our energy, our frequency to manifest their reality. So that's why when we say we don't want to play, it's like Squid Game. Y'all remember Squid Game? They told them it was deep. Everybody watching Squid Games right now because we waking up. It's the biggest talk of the internet. Everybody, you seen Squid Games? You see Squid Games? Me, my mom, my wife, my family, we been watching Squid Games. Haven't we, y'all? We watching it right now. You see what I'm saying? And the one thing that stood out to me, I told my wife and my mama last night, I said, look, y'all, you notice how on that first episode of Squid Games when they was trying to red light, green light episode, and they was trying to quit the game. That's the Vatican. That's exactly what the elites do. They told them, hey, you can quit the game whenever you want to. Actually, they didn't even tell them that. They act like they didn't even have an option. But it was one person in that group that knew the rules. Like it's always a few amongst us that know the real rules about this realm. The one person that knew the rules stood up and said, hold on. But also, we all quit the game, then y'all don't have no players. Is that correct? They was like, yeah, that's correct. And that's how they move in real life. It's a bunch of stuff they can't do. It's a bunch of spiritual laws they violate that they could violate because you don't know that they violated it. But once you stand up and say something, they got to be real and show it to you. They're like, yep, well, you're right. So then now they say, hey, okay, well, if y'all want to quit the game, y'all can quit the game. Right? That's just like right now. We want to quit this matrix at any moment we make it crumble. The moment we walk off their jobs, the matrix crumbles. No more economic system. The moment we start fearing their law enforcement, the law enforcement lose all their power. It's more of us than them. You get what I'm saying? So we are participating in the game. Meanwhile, any moment we can all just say, you know what, man, we quit this shit. We not doing this no more. We finna live in peace. We gonna do what we want to do. We don't care what y'all saying. It's more of us than y'all, right? But then what they do, they dangle money in front of you. See what I'm saying? And you be like, it's like Squid Games. You're like, damn, okay, well, we can all quit. But damn, what if I win that money in that bowl up there? You're not thinking like in the red light, green light game, you just seen a bunch of people get killed. Everybody was scared. Now they dangle and everybody want to quit. Everybody was begging there, find a different way to pay the debt back. But as soon as, goddamn it, they dangle money in front of you, now you willing to risk your life again. You just want to quit the game. And that's how they get us to keep playing the game, because motherfuckers can't come together and just like, look, man, fuck this. We done with this game of you lying to us, abusing our people, making us go to work and draining us of energy. You know what I'm saying? Taking precious moments from us that we could be spending with our families, spending with ourselves. We quit. Especially if y'all can take our jobs at any given time, we quit, we falling back. Nigga, you think they gonna come around and put everybody out? That's a game. That's a game. Nigga, now if we all quit the job force, they gonna try to be like, what can we do to help y'all? It's no more, they can't make no money. And they ain't got enough law enforcement or manpower to put every motherfucker out on the planet. Do you really believe they can do that? No, they can't. They do that with our participation, just like the police. They come deep with 1 million people, with 1 million guns and vests, and you be fearing them. You can say, fuck them guns and the vests. We get 1 million deep. And we don't fear y'all no more. We not listening to y'all no more. How about we don't let y'all put no handcuffs on us? Then your game ends. Because guess what? When the police get off work at 9 o'clock, 5 o'clock, the game ends anyway for them too. Now they regular civilians again. Trying to blend in amongst us. Now don't blend in amongst us, motherfucker. You would have gave a nigga a ticket 2 hours ago. Now you want to walk around Walmart act like we cool. You speaking this shit. You see what I'm saying? It's all a game. The banking system, all that's a game. We ain't got to go in the grocery store to buy no food from them. What if we never went shopping in their grocery stores ever again? What if we said, fuck that, nigga? We finna go to the woods, nigga. We finna go out here in nature, nigga, and build our own farms, nigga. We don't need to even ask y'all how to do it because we the ancient ones. We just gonna go out there and do it. We ain't got to ask y'all. We'll ask the planet, and the planet will remind us what to do. You see? So Squid Games is real fucking deep because that's what the Vatican does. They lay out all the chips. They the ones controlling. They the power pushers. They at the top of everybody, even over the 13 families. Because they are ran directly by the fallen gods. See what I'm saying? All this power. And ain't nobody paying no attention. You just think it's just the Pope over there. You have not a clue. Even the Pope himself. Who has a bigger voice than him? Queen Elizabeth, all they ass be claiming Catholic. So who they go confess their sins to? The Father. Who is the Father in Catholic religion? The Pope. See, and the Pope ain't shit with a face card. Do you think the real people that own Vatican City, you ever seen them? No, you have not. They are not even from this planet. Vatican. Quiet one in the room is the only most powerful. This is the fact. You see, the Vatican, if Jesus ever existed, they killed them. Because he was against the church. All churches got to check in. All religion got to check in with the Vatican. Baptist, Catholic, Buddhist, yep. Even Islam. Ooh, did he say Islam? Yes. Scientology. All of them answer to the Vatican. The Vatican fund all that shit. So you telling me the Catholic Church, which is ran by the Vatican, so you can say most of the Vatican is Catholic. So they own Islam? Yes, they created that too. Now, real Islam is our esoteric teachings like we're doing now. And Islam is an acronym for I, Self, Lord, and Master. That's real Islam. Not this watered down shit the Vatican put out there to make you think that Allah, arm, leg, arm, head, or Islam, I, Self, Lord, and Master is outside of you as well. Because in Islam, they teach the Muslims that Allah is up in a paradise outside of them as well. Okay? So you got to understand that the Vatican is actually used to cast spells. That's why I showed y'all them symbols. And I want y'all to go look at it from an aerial view. You're going to see it clear as day what they use it for. It's a fact. All your big celebrities, when they do go to the cloning center and shit like that, the main cloning center is right up under the Vatican. All our books, all our spells, all our enchantments, they got it in the Vatican. Every university we had that they tore down, under the Vatican. All our major artifacts, under the Vatican. All of it. It was they who created this idea to enslave us with religion. None of the prophets can you have a headstone. You can't find one prophet in the Bible they spoke about headstone. If they walk the planet, why you can't find them? If they ever came, why is there no proof other than what was written in the book? And if you look at the Vatican and you read about the Vatican, Constantine himself, was the one that sat there. Constantine himself was the one that sat there that came up with the whole idea of Jesus. Go research it. Everybody in the university, go research it. Constantine. It was his idea to separate him and Plato, who was also part of the Vatican. It was their idea to separate man from God, or God from body. It's called Neoplatonic thought. Before that, it was never no idea out there that God was separate from who you are. It was never no idea of a God in the sky. That all came from Neoplatonic thought, from Plato. Keyword neo. What does neo stand for? Neocortex, which is not that far from your pineal gland, which is also part of many other glands you have, like your cerebellum. These are all parts of you. See? Right? So, your neocortex. See? Alright, so you got to understand how deep it get. Alright, Constantine talked about how much money this whole idea of Jesus would make them. This all come out the Vatican. You got to know that. Okay? It says here that the Vatican's history as the seat of the Catholic Church began with the construction of Basilica over St. Peter's grave in Rome in the 4th century AD. Lies, because we know they went back and wrote themselves in our history books. They ain't been here no 6,000 years. Time isn't real. See? But when they landed, they got all our enchantments, they got all our ancient history, all our ancient spells and magic, and they went back and wrote themselves in our history books. They went back in time, because it doesn't exist. Okay? But what I want to point out is, all your Catholic cathedrals, even the whole damn grand design of the Vatican was built by us, the Moors. They designed all of Europe. Even the term Europe comes from our ancestors, which means Europe. You are not to cross this boundary, which is why when they came out the Caucasus Mountains, we left them over in the driest part of the land. Right? That's why we even named it Europe. This is Europe. You're not supposed to come off this land. Y'all stay right here because y'all are Neanderthals. And when y'all came amongst us, we tried to help y'all, and y'all was causing too much confusion. So we left them in that little dead part of the land where the sun don't really shine like that. They showed it to you in Simba, metaphorically. Hey, Dad, remember Simba asked Dad, hey, Dad, what's that dark side? What's that dark spot?
Lion King.
Simba said, the Lion King, what's that dark spot? He say, Simba, everything is yours. Everything the light touches. But not that little dark spot. Don't even go over there. He didn't tell him it wasn't his. He just told him don't go over there. Because he knew it was people inhibiting that dark spot that didn't need to be there. That's why it was the dark spot. And that was the hyenas. Europe represents that dark spot on our land. Still our land, but it's the dark spot. Nothing really grows right there. That's why we gave them that little part. And we left them there. They could never leave it. The whole story of, we walked around, we left the promised land, and we left the pharaohs and escaped Egypt, and then we was walking around the promised land for 40 years trying to find it. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't get back across the desert. That's really about they ass being stuck in Europe. Because our ancestors, when we did try to let them live amongst us and try to reverse engineer the genetics, which we did a lot. We helped a lot. They was in Neanderthal form. We got them to where they are now. And Zeus, Yakub, Satan did that. He put them like that. He was the mad scientist that made them like that. We helped them stand upright though when they came back around us and they came here with the Pleiadians, we helped them stand upright. when they came out them caves, when the Caucasus Mountains, it was us in there teaching them agriculture, enchantments, the study of the stars, you know, how to separate your horses from not, you know, they were sleeping with their horses. That's why chicken pox and measles and all these diseases, they were sleeping with their animals. You see, it was, you know, so you got to understand what the Vatican, that whole land represents. It's ancient land. You know what I'm saying? It's ancient land. And before it was the Vatican and Europe and all that, it was still just our land. That's why you can look in Europe's history. I want to recommend a book to y'all. Go read Black People Invented Everything by Dr. Supreme Understanding. He does a good take on that. If you go look into his book, all right, I got a chance to look at his book when I was in jail. But he you know, I never tell y'all to just come to me for information. I tell y'all to go to other individuals and go to yourself. So I'm never not shy to give anybody credit. Like I say, shout out to Dr. Supreme Understanding. He got a book called Black People Invented Everything. And he dives more into that. Just like right here it says, the Catholic Church began with the construction of a basilica over St. Peter's grave. So the basilica is what I showed y'all, that long spiral tall thing, and they send at St. Peter's grave. First off, St. Peter was a goddamn homosexual. He was a murderer. He was a rapist, and he had slaves. He was a colonizer. Okay, let's know who he was first. Second off, all right, I told you they are infatuated with penises. So that what they're calling a basilica is actually a phallus. A phallus is another word for a bull penis. And that's the same phallus they got in Washington, D.C. The Washington Monument, that tall, long, skinny statue, that's the shape of a bull's penis. If you go look at a bull and look at his penis, it's the exact shape because they worship the bull. All right, they worship the Baphomet. So you got to understand the signs and symbols they use. And a lot of these signs and symbols anciently was ours anyway, but they took them and flipped them and inverted everything because remember, Satan is against nature. Satan is against us. So everything we did, you just retook it and flipped it and inverted it. So really left is right and right is really left. Up is down and down is up. North is south, south is north. East is west, west is east. That's exactly what he did. See? Because he's the author of confusion. So this word basilica is nothing but another word for a phallus. All right? They are infatuated with the bull. Okay? They're going to always give worship to the bull because they try to connect it with the Baphomet just like they do with the goat. Okay? These are just symbols that they stole from us. They took from us to pervert. Just like the Illuminati. Like everything comes from us. You see what I'm saying? So once you can understand that, you can understand what they doing. You see? You can understand what the Vatican really is. That's where the focus needs to be. Like, hold on. Everything that's going on is coming from them, but you ain't heard shit about them. They so quiet. They never heard about the Vatican. But that's how it is. The most powerful people are always the most quietest. That's why we call this Vatican. Most powerful, always most quiet one. Normally the most powerful person in the room. You never hear none of the CNN don't focus on the Vatican or nothing. And think about when these priests, how long have Catholic priests been getting caught raping 200, 300, 400 boys? This ain't new. These stories been coming out since I was a little kid. You know, nothing ever happened to them niggas. They have 30 accusations they done raped all the little boys in the church, and them niggas still be right there, goddamn it, past Catholic priest. Motherfuckers still go in the communion and confess their sins to somebody that's raping their son. See what I'm saying? You know? Even the whole way they music sound. You ever heard their music? That shit evil. Ain't no soul in there. You ever seen when they come out? That ain't devil worship for your ass. I don't know what is. Look at the gowns they wear. Look at the way the candles they hold. Look at the way they move. Look at these people are blood drinkers. These people really eating your kids. You see? Because they body jumpers. The people at the top, I told you, they've been here since they got here. They just jump body to body. That's what conscious transfer was about. But you got to understand the Vatican plays a huge role in that. All right? Notice, what do they do for the Pope? The Papal what? What is it called? The Pope is called the Papal Bull, right? But they get a Pope. Let's look it up. Y'all can look with me. Y'all got laptops. Let's look over what they say about it. What is the Papal Bull? A Papal Bull is a type of public decree, letters, patent, or charter issued by a Pope of the Catholic Church. It is named after the leading seal bull that was traditionally appended that was appended to the end in order to authenticate it. So, Papal Bull Now, why do they use the term bull though? Didn't I tell you they in love? Didn't I tell you that the bull is one of their symbols? All right, the bull is one of their symbols, not just the goat, the bull horns, the bull. All right, so understand that these people are infatuated with homosexuality. So you're gonna see that basilica or bull phallus in the Vatican. You're gonna see the same one in Washington D.C. too, but they call it the Washington Monument. I don't care what they call it. It's a bull dick. You get what I'm saying? And you got to understand the people at the top, they are infatuated with homosexuality because they are against nature. They can't stand goddess. They don't like women. They let you know that in their damn Bible. When they wrote the Bible starts off saying, fuck the women. It says, Eve bit the apple. It's her fault the whole world fucked up. That's basically what they said. So right away, they dethroned the woman from her divine feminine energy in their book, at least. See? We never did that. We never had religion. And in our ancient ways, the goddess was always held the highest. I told y'all, go look at the ancient African tribes, the warrior tribes, and that was us after the fall still. But notice how you couldn't be a warrior unless a high priestess of that tribe said so. She elected the warriors. You couldn't go to battle unless she said so. And you couldn't become a warrior chief without her permission. You know, we always had to get that back to the goddess. So you got to understand everything was flipped and inverted and who did it and why. And Constantine is a big player in that because the original Constantine was one of the first ones to step into Vatican City. All right. Now let's look up Nero. Let's learn. A lot of y'all don't know about Nero. All right, Nero. All right, let's talk about Nero real quick. Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus. All right. Originally named after Lucius Domitius, was the 5th emperor of Rome and the last of Julio Claudian dynasty line of emperors. All right, check this out. He's very known for being one of the most aggressive, flamboyant, and colorful personality. Nero was the center of several public and private scandals, some of which continue to live in public imagination even to this day. All right, so Nero, they try to say that he killed a lot of Christians and stuff like that. But go look up Nero, Nero, and see the type of emperor he was. Now, even when they using words like emperor and empress, they got all that shit from us. They come from the royal cosmic courts. The whole way they dress, kings and queens, and they got all that from us. All right? But Nero was one of the most infamous emperors of all time. Right? Because he killed a lot of his own. Right? He was trying to eradicate Christianity. He was trying to eradicate certain things once he found out what was going on. Because remember, you always had white people that was good and white people that was bad. Nero was one of those that was good. He fought against the church hard from within. And he damn near took it over and stopped the agenda. So that's why they talk about him like that. But they don't give him no little clout. They be like, he one of their worst ones, but he the most infamous. But if you remove the R from Nero, you get Neo. Just like from the Matrix. Why was it? Why? Because he challenged the system. And why anytime somebody challenges the system, they call him Neo. Anytime somebody challenges the system and beat the system, that's Neo. So notice he was Nero. And then in the movie Matrix, Neo what? Challenged the system and beat the system. But why Neo? Because Neo stands for neocortex. And in order to challenge this light code lockdown or to challenge this agenda, you have to go into your neocortex. Your neocortex is your cognitive reasoning, which makes you think outside the box, which makes you free think, which makes you challenge the status quo. To do that, you have to tap into a certain creativity in your brain. That's your neocortex. You still with me, babe? That's your neocortex. All right? So it get real deep, but with the Vatican, they got all our artifacts, all our evidence of these truths that we speak about, they got it. They got it. They got it right up under the Vatican. Libraries upon libraries upon libraries of us. All the information they ever found about us, all the stuff they ever stole from us under the Vatican. That's why it must be destroyed, which it will be. Because it's an energetic source for light magic. It's their most powerful temple of light magic that Satan ever built on this realm. Vatican. But it will be destroyed. But class has been great.